All right, shalom, shalom. Just continuing on. Um, I ain't going nowhere. Still like in the same spot. Going to continue this. Cause sometimes you try to pick up on a video like 2 days later or um, 10 hours later, and the spirit kind of shift a little bit. But I'm still like in the same zone. So I'm gonna pick up verse. Where is that? All right, we're gonna jump to 30. Salakia. I'm on this Good News translation. It's a good translation to use too, especially when you're going into Israelite foreigners and destruction. Like you read Isaiah 34, Isaiah 13, and them heavy, the Lord coming from Edom with dyed by garments from Teman. Like it be dropping it heavy. You know what I mean? You be like, damn, that's worded like severe, you know what I mean? So it's a good translations to have for other topics. They're actually a little more edifying than the KJV. But let's continue. Chapter 30, verse 1. But Rachel had not borne Jacob any children, so she became jealous of her sister and said to Jacob, give me children or I would die. And you know what I mean? That's the woman. And that show you that Salakia, Rachel was entitled. You know what I mean? Because that's a psychological thing. It's a saying. A female never would know what it's like to be a woman until she gives birth to a child. And these women think it's funny that they don't have kids. Oh, I want kids, this and that. But as you get older and you start to experience life and you don't have children, you a fucking loser. You lost. Now, I mean, that's even the Lord said, you shall be saved in childbearing. And a lot of men, these passport bros and all that, they not giving birth to these, not giving birth, but they not knocking up these chicks. I mean, I'm 38 and 0. I mean, that's my record. 38 and 0, no abortions. Abortion would be like a draw or something like that. But that's my record, 38 and 0. Meaning I'm 38 years old, no children. I mean, so, and that's by design. I came into truth when I was like 20, 21. So I had like a lot of insight on how to move and what not to do. And I took heed to the Lord's word. But it says, give me children or I die. So this shows that Rachel wasn't spiritual. She ain't say like, you know what I mean? Could you pray to the Lord or fast to the Lord that I become pregnant? You know what I mean? Like their forefather Abraham and Sarah. You know, she was barren. Then she got Jacob and Esau. You know, Salakia. This Satan. I should have bought me a Claritin out. The brother be having Claritin and shit, little allergy pills. I should have grabbed one of them shits. But anyway, became angry with Rachel and said, give me children or I would die. So she was like, look, I'm going to kill myself if you don't give me a baby. And that's how them carnal women talk. And like I said, beautiful women, they feel entitled. And they always feel like, well, how the fuck this ugly, even though it was her sister, but putting it in today's term, how the fuck this ugly bitch give you a baby? And, you know what I mean? I was always entitled. I always was the favorite one. I always was everyone that gave compliments to. And Leah probably felt like neglected to a degree her whole life. Dealing with her sister Rachel. You know what I mean? Like she felt like she was outshined and like overshadowed by her sister. And that's another reason, the Lord did it, because he dealt with the underdog. But it's also to teach Rachel a lesson, like, yo, bitch, like you gotta like pump your brakes. And you check out the real pretty chicks, they think like their beauty is like they number one selling agency, which it is, but they take that shit to their head. And a lot of times they be real narcissistic, and they be real insecure. Like you tell an ugly chick fast, like you got a big forehead or some shit like that, and they be the main ones getting surgeries. They be the main ones getting BBLs and they be the main ones in the mirror for fucking hours, like beautifying themselves. Know what I mean? But a lot of those chicks, like I said, they feel entitled. They don't praise the Lord like that. They're in their mind, because they got everything from the world thrown at them through men, from their looks, from how beautiful they are. You know. So them fine ass women, yeah, you could get them, deal with them, whatever. You bag one, or I mean, you got one or whatever. But they're more of a headache to deal with, kind of like a foreign car, right? Like a supercar, like a Ferrari or a McLaren, a Maserati, or fucking a Lamborghini, a Aston Martin or some shit. Oh, Talaki. Oh, that was a big one. I had to try to hold that one. Man, that's just Satan. But I'm pushing through, brothers. I'm pushing through with this video, right? So yeah, give me children, I would die. Shame, praise the Lord. Oh, them cars, right? I was saying those cars, they look good to drive. They beautiful cars, right? However, people praise them when they see them, just like if you got a bad chick with you. I mean, and they could boost your self-esteem. They could give you connects, right? And people will listen to you just because you got, how you get her, man? They'll think you the man there, like worship the ground you walk on and shit. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with those cars, right? But they're not meant to be driven every day. Like them cars, them like Lamborghinis and all them shits, they have like a lot of electrical problems. You know what I mean? They real high maintenance to deal with. So you got a fine ass woman, she gonna want her hair done. You gonna be like, yo, just wrap it up. Like, no, like she go like, know what I mean, like too long without being beautified and shit like that, and you can't keep up with keeping her nails and shit done, and she looking busted and shit, that narcissism gonna kick in, and she gonna have a fucking problem with you, man. So you know what I mean, you gotta make sure her shit stay tight, you know what I mean? Just like that fucking Lamborghini, you know what I mean? Because men compare cars to women a lot, right? You gotta make sure that oil you change, you know what I mean? You gotta make sure you don't park it in like certain areas, you know what I mean, in the hood, even if you got like a heavy alarm system on it. You still like, I mean, if you break a windshield on one of them supercars, that shit like $5,000 to fix. You know what I mean? Because I like cars, you know, I'm from Brick City, North New Jersey, stolen car capital. I came up like in the 90s, so like we fuck with cars heavy, like that be our thing, like cars, like you know what I mean. I fish too, I like going fishing and shit like that, but like cars and vehicles, doing donuts, hooking them up and shit, souping them up, you know, running from police, you know, that was our thing as like a lost Jake in the world, coming from that environment. But yeah, so them cars, like, you know, it's high maintenance to deal with, keep up. A fucking tune-up might cost you like fucking 3 G's or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but they look good on your arm and get praised. So, you know, everything has its pros and cons. But we're gonna read on, but I just wanted to pull the meat off the bone right there. Let me see how many verses up in here. 41. Woo! Let's continue on. 41. Then after this, I'm going to have to stop and read 31 and possibly 32 another time. And Jacob became angry with Rachel and said, I can't take the place of God. And that's the proper way to understand. You got to check these women. When Eve go off, you got to check her. And one thing, and Eve loved that shit. One thing, when you don't check Eve and she go off or she violate and disrespect you, she look at you kind of like as a pussy, or they get turned off by you. But you got to be able to put your foot down and check them And he used the word of the Most High, like, yo, bitch, I ain't God. Know what I mean? But look, you know, Leah, her sister, was more humble. And that shows you, like, you ain't got to get a butt ugly chick, but if you date down as far as looks, you know what I mean? You could get an adjustable, you could get a hard 5 or a soft 6. And when she put on clothes and get dressed, she might be like a 7 or a soft 8. You know what I'm saying? But they more like easier to work with and more compliant. You know what I mean? And probably be more receptive towards the word of the Lord than some fine ass women. You know, so the Bible got hella game. You know what I mean? Like, people talk about the Bible's a fairy tale book, man. You could soak up a lot of game from the Bible. Game, and I ain't talking about spitting game, but I'm talking about game about life, game in general. This is the book of life. You know what I mean? So when you actually meditate on it and look at it and view these different things, it could teach you actually a lot. You know what I mean? How to move in the old society and even in modern day society and what to look out for. You just gotta open your eyes and get these spiritual nuggets that's written in between the lines in these stories, right? It said, I can't take the place of God. He is the one who keeps you from having children. And that's right. She said, here's my slave Bilhah. Sleep with her so that she can have a child for me. So she tried to do like basically the surrogacy thing. You know what I mean? And that's how you know women are really set up to please a man. If a chick ain't trying to please you or make you happy, you gotta get rid of that motherfucker. You know what I mean? You gotta get rid of her. That means she don't like you like that, and she's using you, and she got you around to drain you for your resources. You ain't gotta take no chick to no expensive ass dinner or no shit like that, no crazy shit like that. You could take her to fucking IHOP, or you could take her to fucking Applebee's 2 for $20. If she like you like that, she gonna be doing whatever to try to please you, bro. I was rewatching Power like last week, and a lot of y'all brothers watched the first one with James St. Patrick with ghosts and shit. He was dating Angela, the fat bitch, the cop, the Ephraimite, and he bought her a nice ass necklace. He had to spend a few G's for that shit, and he was like, "I bought you something," and she was like, "You don't gotta keep buying me things." He was like, "Nah, I want to buy you shit so you can feel special." She was like, "Man, I feel special when you look at me." I was like, "Damn, that's heavy." You know what I mean? Because I was rewatching that whole Power thing. I'm like, "Damn, that's some real shit." She was like, "You ain't got to buy me nothing. I feel special when you look at me." I was like, "Damn, that's some real shit." You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, Eve, when she's really into you, she gonna please you. And this is also the beautiful thing about not dealing with one woman. Imagine if Jacob just had her. She would have never gave him the other woman. She would have never had no competition. And he would have been suffering from one-itis. Look that up, one-itis. One-itis is when you got, that's basically the scarcity mindset. And that's when you start praising one woman too much and she get tired of you because you only got one of her, and it's really no other. You putting too much of your focus and your attention on that one woman. It's like same thing with shoes. You only got one pair of Timberlands. You're like, man, I don't want to mess these shoes up, and you focus on them too much to where you want to hurt somebody if they step on them, or if they steal them. You want to kill somebody, or you frustrated and mad as hell that the rain they got wet. You know what I'm saying? And you over-treat these shoes, you suffer from basically a syndrome. It's a syndrome in psychology called one-itis, right? But since he had she had competition, and her competition. See, one thing about women, they hate losing to another woman. They hate that shit. They hate, one thing a woman live for is to tell the next bitch, I beat you, you lost, I stole your man, I got a better man than you, I got the ring, I got the house, I have the last, I got married, I have children. So that's why a lot of these chicks today, you know, they get older, like in their 40s and shit. They like, oh, I'm trying to get married. Or the younger ones, you know, they get married. But a lot of that shit is from competition. To tell their other friends, yeah, I got a ring, y'all bitches ain't got a ring. Y'all just getting fucked, y'all lonely and shit. I got kids and family in the house. And you gotta be careful, because they will have you doing all this shit in the name of competition to compete with the other girlfriends or whatever scent that their girlfriends got doing for them. You gotta compete with this thing. And they feel like if you ain't trying to do that shit, they gonna cut your ass loose or start treating you like shit and start disrespecting you. But the point here is like what? These women was eager to please Jacob. Even though Rachel was hard to deal with, she had a mouth on her because she was fine. I mean, she was a little edgy. But at the end of the day, she was still willing to please Jacob. But a lot of it was what? Competition. She probably ain't really cared when if Jacob got her pregnant or not. You know what I'm saying? She probably really, you know, was like, I get a baby whenever, you know what I mean? But now that her sister is giving them baby and doing well, she want to do it. So it's kind of like women get in line when they see you have other women in line. But if a woman find out she's the only one, or you can't do better, or you sweating her and you all over her, she gonna be turned off by you. You know what I mean? And that's just their nature. And really it goes back to the Most High, because the Most High don't want us worshiping one woman or all up under one woman. We got a kingdom to run. We got an earth to build up. We got children to have. And if you like that to one woman smothering her, he built them to be repelled by that shit, to push you away. And that push you back into focusing on him. That push you back into focusing on being a king. Because a king requires more than just sleeping with and dealing with one woman. And my allergies haven't been fucking with me. Well, a little bit yesterday, but I just woke up. And my allergies was like crazy, killing me. I'm about to go on a plantation in a minute, but yeah, I thought I was good, but Salaki again for that. Just trying to push through this lesson regardless of the circumstances, right? But yeah, I'm pulling a lot of meat off this bone, but hey, you know, it is what it is. 18 minutes in so far. Woo. It's gonna be a long chapter. So she gave her, and show you that what? Women, they don't really care if you sleep with other women. That shit is really a turn on. Because what? She gave her servant. She like, man, before I lose to my sister, and she uglier than me, or less prettier than me, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'ma have Jacob sleep with my handmaid. I mean, Billa. And that show you that what? Really, women don't really care about that shit. That shit is a control tactic. If you got your shit together, you in shape enough, or a chick really like you. Matter of fact, I was talking to this chick out here the other day. I was talking to her, whatever. She was like, her dude was doing her wrong. She really loved her. He was just talking to me, because people are drawn to the men of the Lord. She ain't know I was in the truth. They just drawn to our energy. So she opened up. And she was like, I don't care. Like, I just want him to be real with me. And I looked at her in the eyes. She was serious. She was like, I don't care if he got another girl or he fucking somebody else. I just want to be with him. I love him. I was like, damn, this chick like for real and shit. So, you know what I'm saying? So they don't really care. They use that shit as a control tactic to have you like this and that. Because if you look at VIPs, it's hella dudes in there with hella chicks. You look at mansion parties, you look at all that shit is a confirmation code for a woman to fuck with you. Women love men that either that cheats or that can cheat. If they find out like you can't pull nothing else, or she's your only hope, or some shit like that, they gonna be repelled by you. But when you really think about it, it all goes back to the will of the Lord, because we're not supposed to, especially us as Israelite men, we ain't really supposed to be glued up under one chick. We supposed to be fruitful and multiplying. You know what I mean? And, we supposed to be focusing on his word pertaining to the services, the sacrifices, building up the earth, not just hovering up under like one piece of ass. And that keeps them in line. That causes the whole competition thing to start, and that keeps them eager to please you, because they hate to lose to the next chick, especially if they not as pretty as them. All right, hey man, I know I'm like going on and on. We're gonna get back to the word, but I got a quick little testimony. I was dealing with this chick, right? Ephraimite chick I was dealing with. She went up in my phone and found, I was dealing with this she was Gad, but she looked Benjamin. Black ass chocolate girl, older woman. She was like, I really like them like younger, but older woman. She was like 47 or some shit. But man, she had a nice figure on her. But I took a picture with her. She was black as hell though. She was like real dark, probably the color of Yahushua, who knows? She was like real, like deep dark brown. That's what I liked about her. She ain't really looked that good in the face, and I took a picture with her. I don't be off of like hiding and running from women. I'm like, fuck it, I took a picture with her. But what she did was she ran up in my phone and saw the picture. So she started bitching and complaining or whatever. But what made her mad, she felt as though the chick was uglier than her. Like and she didn't look as good as the Ephraimite. But her body, the Ephraimite ass had a nice ass. I ain't gonna lie, the Ephraimite. But the Gadite, black Gadite, Benjamite looking chick, woo! That was one thing. And I would talk about the sex between the two, but that's a little too much information, because that was a factor too. But she was mad, like she was fucked up mentally, because she didn't look. She felt as though like I cheated on her. I don't like that word. It doesn't exist. The real word is adultery, and the man don't commit adultery by that. But I cheated on her with a bitch that looked uglier than her. But if she was like way finer than her, she would have like felt a lot better about it. And she never, I wanted to tell her, man, shut the fuck up, man. Whatever. I cursed her out for going through my phone. But she never left me or anything like that. If anything, today I left her, but she never like, like, oh, fuck you, get out, this and that. Because I'm like a man about my shit. I don't be ducking and dodging from like chicks and shit like that. It's like, yo, if you leave, good. If you stay, good. My life don't change. Like, I'm not mooching off of you or whatever. Like you, I'm a benefit to you, especially like being a man of the Lord. And that's the mentality you gotta have. And Leah said, I have been lucky, so she named the child Gad. Oh, and verse 9, Salakia. When that was a long ramble. Hopefully, Lord willing, that was edifying though. Because that was a lot of meat right there with Rachel and the mind state and psychology of women. When Leah realized that she had stopped having children, she gave Zipporah to Jacob as his wife. See, that competition. And she was up. She like, bitch, I'm 4 kids up. And you trying to catch up, I'm going to throw him another one. And that's, like women, like that competition thing. And that keeps, you know what I mean? And women hate to lose, especially if a chick call like, bitch, I'm going to take your man. Eve don't be with that shit. Like, and some women actually do it. And tell other chick, like, bitch, that's why I got your man. I fucked your man. He loves me. He don't love you. And women, like, yeah. They, like I said, they hate with a deep passion to take an L by another chick. Especially if she don't look as good as she do. that will psychologically fuck them up forever, as long as they in this flesh on this side, right? I have been lucky, so she named him Gad. Zipporah, God troop, had another son, and Leah said, happy I, so she called him Asher, and she named him Asher. During the wheat harvest, Reuben went into the fields and found mandrakes, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said, Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. Mandrakes was known to make like a woman fertile. Leah answered, isn't it enough you have taken away my husband? Now even you're trying to take away my son's mandrakes. Right? So that's how a woman could be like really possessive. And you got to tell these chicks like, yo, I don't fucking belong to you. I'm bought with a price. I belong to the Lord. You belong to me. You got to tell them that. You can't be like Samson simping. Because Samson was simping, man, over Delilah. You got to like tell, you got, you know, she was fine. You know, you got to put your foot down, let her know what it is. Like, yo, I don't fucking belong to you. I belong to the Lord. You belong to me. That's the setup. You know? Rachel said, if you would give me some your son's mandrakes, you can sleep with Jacob tonight. See? Because she was the more beautiful one. So she had like, no, babe, come over here. He was head over heels for her anyway. So Leah, she probably was getting popped, but he probably, you know what I mean? That's like you got a chick look like, I don't know, beauty's in the eye of beholder. That's like you got a chick that look like fucking Kelly Rowland or some shit. You know what I mean? With a body on her. Kelly Rowland like really slim. Chick from Destiny Child. Say Kelly Rowland with a fine ass body on her. She do got a body, but imagine it even better. Then you got a chick that look like let me see a mediocre chick. Vivica Fox or some shit. I mean, she kind of up there. She old now, but some mediocre chick. That ain't that. Whoopi Goldberg in her prime or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So you got Kelly Rowland versus Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna be like, damn, I gotta still fuck Whoopi Goldberg because she is my wife. I don't want Jacob coming down like, I mean Laban, like, yo, you neglecting my daughter type shit. So I still gotta hit that, but man, I'm trying to deal with Kelly Rowland shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why she told her like, yo, I'll let him sleep with you tonight. And that's some prideful shit. Like I said, like them pretty ass women, they feel entitled. They be having mouths on them. They be fucking mouthing off. You be having to check them more. And when Jacob came in from the fields in the evening, Leah went to meet him and said, you are going to sleep with me tonight because I had paid for you with my son's mandrakes. So he had intercourse with her that night. See? And God answered Leah's prayers, and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son and said, God has given me my reward because I gave my salve to my husband. So she named his son Issachar, Yashashkar. He is hired. Leah became pregnant again, but bore Jacob a sixth son. God has given me a fine gift, and now my husband will accept me because I had borne him six sons. So she named his name Zebulun. Later she bore him a daughter who she named Dinah. Did God remember Rachel? He answered her prayer and made it possible for her to have children. And she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She said, God has taken away my disgrace by giving me a son. See, now what? She mentions the Lord. Now she mentioned praising the Lord. Before she lashed out, give me a son or I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to die. You don't give me. Now she like, oh, you know what I mean? Thank you, Lord. And that show you like women, they like opportunists, right? They kind of like survivalists. They like opportunistic. And really when you think about it, that's why the Lord don't deal with them. He was like, man, the sheep of my flock, the sheep of my pastures are men. I deal with the men, the men deal with the women. Because he know he designed them a certain type of way. And if he was to deal with them directly, he fuck around and we won't have no women out here. We won't have no ass to deal with. He fuck around and be putting them to death left and right. He'd be like, damn. And that goes against his program of being fruitful and multiplying. So that kind of understand like why he don't deal with them. If you understand the psyche of a woman and their biological makeup, you know, and how the Lord designed them. But they was made for us, and we was made to be a certain type of way. And he designed them based upon us, not based upon him. So you can understand. So she named him Joseph, Yawasap, which is he adds, right? And okay, 8:30, I'm pushing past my time. But, you know, can't put a time on the spirit. I'm at 25. And after the birth, Jacob said to Laban, let me go so that I can return home. Give me my wives and children that I had earned by working for you, and I will leave. You know how well I have served you. So he like, yo, I'm trying to get out of here. And sometimes it be like that, man. You might like live like at home, like, you know, with your parents still, whatever your situation is. Or you might live with your baby mother, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Especially you having this truth inside you, the Lord could use you in other areas of the planet, in other areas of the world. You know what I mean? So sometimes the Lord had you like leave from there. You know what I mean? Yeah, have you go to another place. And you were thinking in your mind, I'm here to stay. But a lot of times, like, the Lord just had you there for a season. Like, nah, I don't want you to stay here. I want you to grow here. I want you to reach. I need you to come here to reach certain people. I need you to come here to, there's somebody in this land I need you to get to. There's other prophets here, but I need you to do it. You know what I mean? So like the Lord might have, you know what I mean, certain things cut out for you in particular or certain type of ways where, you know, he wants you to do X, Y, and Z by this way or you know, by that way. And, you know, you might leave, you know, Atlanta and go to Cincinnati or Cleveland, you know what I mean? And you might go there, you probably be there for a while. You might stay a year or two, but you probably be like, man, I'm out of here. But when you leave, you fuck around and experience like a large amount of growth. And you might leave from there and go to fucking upstate New York. And the Lord dealing with you up there. And when you get there, and he told Jacob, he said, when you get there and when you go there, it shall be told to you what you shall do. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes like the Lord don't always reveal like what's going to happen. He just like, man, just pack your shit and go. And a lot of times you don't have a lot of resources. You don't have enough. But the Lord always provides. The scripture that say they shall be like pilgrims on the earth. You know what I mean? And the Lord always, when you come to these different areas, your spiritual DNA, your spiritual genetic makeup, so to say, how the Lord designed you, whatever's in that area or whatever's in that particular part of town is cut out and fit for you for the benefit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Laban said to him, let me say this, I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Yeah, he's like, man, shit, man, them 14 years, man, I was eating. So imagine like you got a business that's like struggling. You meet this person, he up your business. He bring your business up and you doing numbers. Say you bringing in like fucking $250,000 a year. And by the 14th year when he leaves, you making like fucking 7 million, 8 million a year. You like, yo, know what I mean? Like, yo, I ain't trying to like what you want. Like, would you stay longer? But it's kind of like, yo, I'm trying to be out. And it be like that with jobs too. Know what I mean? You might have a business or you might have a job. Not even like a business, like, cause a business like free you up. Or if you self-employed, you can move around more. But like, you might be stuck at this fucking job that, and it might pay you good, it might pay you money, but that shit might be tying your time up, or it might be like suffocating you from serving the Lord, or reaching certain pinnacles, or morphing into what the Lord actually wants you to be, or trying to get you to be. So you got to be like, man, I got to put my 2 weeks in, and I got to take a job in another area that pays less, or that's less money, but I know it's a spiritual benefit here. You know what I mean? And the Lord, money is nothing, man, or resources is nothing. You know what I mean? Especially even in these last days, he said, my servants shall eat. The Lord can always up your bread and bless you with this, or give you this business ideal and have it prosper. You know what I mean? Like he blessed Jacob business, as we gonna read. You know what I mean? That shit ain't, that's light work to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Or he put a spirit on a woman. And I ain't with mooching off of Eve. It's best to have your own shit. But you had Phoebe. She took care of Paul. You know what I'm saying? So he put a spirit on a woman to just straight up look you out, hold you down while you over there. You know what I mean? And the Lord, you know, use you and be able, but you can't be fearful, man. You can't be like a pussy. You know what I mean? You can't be a coward. You got two types of cowards. You got the coward that's scared to fight, or like carnal shit. You got a coward that's scared to like execute things in life for his own benefit. He's scared to talk to a woman. He's scared to check on, you know, like a lot of these new GMO babies out here today. These fucking incels and out here, they scared to like go out into the real world and like live life and challenge life, and you know what I mean, and check on a job application, or like approach somebody, and you know what I mean, be a fucking man. They scared to do that. You can't be like that. You know what I mean? You can't be scared to venture out. It's a wise saying, you will never swim to new horizons until you get courage to lose sight of the shore, right? So you will never reach those peaks and pinnacles until you get courage. And why courage? Courage is the will to move on in the presence of fear. And what's fearful? You're not used to coming out of your comfort zone. And your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. So a lot of time, if you want to grow, if you want to reach new levels, or you want to reach new peaks, you got to leave that comfort zone. And you can always go back there, but you don't really want to go back there until you reach your new peaks or new levels, because it's kind of like sticking food in the grease or in the oven and you pull it out before it's done. Like, it's like, why you even putting it in there? You're going to eat that shit and get sick. So you got to leave it in there until it's done. Or it's like punishing your son, but you leave him on punishment for 6 hours. That's not a long enough time for him to learn his lesson. He gonna go back outside and do the same shit again. So you got to stay in the heat. You got to stay in the fire long enough until you morph. You're going to know. If you're a spiritual man, you're going to know when that change has happened. You're going to know when you morphed into the next levels. You're going to know when the Lord has elevated you. It's going to be obvious. And then you could be like, yo, I reached my peak here. I'm going back home over here, or I'm going back to this town or that town. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the Lord worked. That's how he deal. Laban said unto him, let me say this, I have a blessed because of you. Name your wages and I will pay them. See, he was like, yo, I'll pay you more money. Stay. Like, what you want? Jacob answered, you know I have worked for you and have your flocks have prospered under my care. The little you had before I came has grown enormously. See? And the Lord has blessed you wherever I went. And that's the men of the Lord, man. People who hang around us get blessed. People who like in our energy, know what I mean? I be like Ubering and Lyfting. People who get in the car and they be like, yo, man, and if I decide to like talk to them and they like tell me their problems. And a lot of times I don't use scriptures. They be, Jake is repelled by the word of the Lord. So I would use scriptures, but I will word it in another way, right? But it's still at the end of the day be the same message. And and they talk to me, they grab my energy, they be like, damn, brother, you a blessing. I learned a lot of them don't want to get the fuck about the car. They leave me nice little tips or whatever and shit like that. So whoever we come around as men of the Lord, especially if you like, and not to separate rank or nothing, but especially you like an elder, you've been around, you've been in this thing for a little bit, and you got a lot of experiences and wisdom to give and all that, man, it's a blessing. Hey, the Lord even said it, like, you meet mark you the perfect man. And it said what? Sirach 6, if you meet an elder, let your foot wear the doorsteps of his house. Because what? You could just sit there, if you could have the advantage to sit there and pick his mind, man, that's wonderful. Like, you could like just get elevated by just like sitting in his presence. You know what I mean? And with this hell, this captivity, a lot of people don't have access to knowledgeable brothers or brothers that they could call and just sit on the phone with, or walk into their presence and sit amongst them and just ask them 1,000 questions and they just sit there and edify them. But if you're able to do that and have that luxury, that's a beautiful thing, right? So now it is time for me, enormously, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I went. See, people get blessings from just being around us. I mean, they learn a lot just from being around us. So a lot of, even not to toot my own horn, but like even me, from dealing with the Lord, all praise, I'm just a vessel though. Praise to Yahweh. A lot of people that come, especially worldly people that come around me, like they like my presence. Even now, I'm down here in Bmore, in Maryland at the time. People in Jersey, I went back up there like 2 weeks ago. They like, man, we miss you, man. When you coming back? Like, yo, like, and a lot of times they just like, like you have like, as a man in the Lord and dealing with your house side, you have people be drawn to you. And when you actually leave them and leave from away from them, they actually like can feel that shit. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing about the Lord and having his truth in a dark ass world like this. People kind of like cleave unto you a lot. Enormously, wherever I went. Now it is time for me to look out for my own interests. Yeah, man. And you gotta do that, man. Sometimes like it's like, yo, you taking care of your kids, or what you should do. Or your woman, or you focus on this and that. Like, it come a time you gotta look after yourself, man. Selfishness not always a bad thing. You gotta be selfish to a degree. You gotta look after yourself, your health. The apostles been pushing health a lot. I'm starting to put in my mind, like, listen, man, health is as important as prayer. It's not. But I'm telling myself that to push myself to exercise. And I've been exercising pretty hard. Like the last week, I lost a good 8 pounds and shit. Probably try to add a little muscle if it be the Lord's will. But I'm definitely trying to trim down. But I'm telling myself, like, look, how you be getting up praying, how you be talking to the Lord. Like, yo, you gotta exercise. Like, you looking 40 in the face. Like, yo, start fucking exercising. Getting your health and shit together, man. So it's time for me to look out for my own interests. So yeah, Jacob wasn't a sucker. He like, yeah, man, fuck all that extra shit you about to give me. It's time for me to own my own shit. So a lot of times you be under a job and you got enough skills to start your own business. Even though we at the end of the thing, of this thing, but the point still stands. You got enough skills to bring in your own revenue to start your own business. But a lot of people be shook and scared, so they stay up under Esau or Amalek or whoever plantation owner you work for. It could be a Jake, and you let him squeeze you and drain you and throw you nigger pennies. All of his nigger pennies, but you could get a bigger crumb for your services. But Jacob like, nah, fuck that. I got a wife. I got 2 wives. I got the handmaids. I got 4 women. I mean, I got children and shit. Like, man, I can't. I mean, I gotta do me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't like sit up under you and shit and just sit up under you all the time and mooch off of you. Cause Laban was loving that shit. And sometimes you gotta have that mentality frame of mind. You gotta get from up under certain individuals. Like, yo, I gotta get my own shit. Like, I even recommend not moving in with a woman. Like, even if you live with a woman, let that shit be temporarily. Let it be for the time being. But if you could, get out, get your own shit. Or move in with a brother. I mean, be like a roommate or some shit. Because what? Men hold each other accountable. Eve make you lazy. She gonna want to lay up. She gonna want to have sex. She ain't gonna want you to go to the gym. She ain't gonna want you to do none of that shit. It's your day off. She gonna stop you from studying. She gonna be real disruptive. And that's going to weaken you from being around them. And when you check it out, we never lived with them like that. They had their own chambers and quarters when you check it out and set it up. And they'd be unclean and all that shit. You had to put them away for 7 days purification period, and all of that. So, like, when you live with men, though, men be like, yo, nigga, you getting fat. Like, I mean, men gonna hold you accountable. Or you watching too much fucking TV. Or like, yo, you need to start fucking working out. You need to start exercising. Do some push-ups, nigga. Or some shit like that. Know what I mean? Or like, because brothers will get on you. Or brothers will wind up bumping heads on certain things. But that should be healthy. Like, yo, bro, you need to do some fucking videos. Or like, yo, you slacking on your video. A woman ain't gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to like, you know, like, nah, man, I gotta look out for my own interests. I mean, I can't just keep fucking mooching off of you. I know you eating it and liking it. And Jacob could have named probably whatever price. And Laban would have been like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, I'll give it to you. But he like, nah, fuck that. I want my own shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the ruling class mentality. What shall I pay you, Laban asked. Jacob answered, I don't want any wages. I will continue to take care of your flocks if you agree to this suggestion. Right. Let me through all your flocks today and take every black lamb and every spotted or speckled young goat that is of the wages I want. And this is how you want to see how bad the Lord is right here. So he was like, listen. Now Jacob was being slick. He like, yo, I know you a type of motherfucker that like to get over on people. So look, I'm gonna hit you with this. Out of all the sheep, you could take all the black sheep and the white sheep, normally white. He said, take them out the flock. And all the speckled ones that come out, which is a rare, you know, for them to come out speckled, that's rare. That's not all the time. That's kind of like having like an albino python come out or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So he like, I'm going to just take the speckled ones. And that's going to be of my own wages. So Laban kind of like, all right, hell yeah, you dumb as hell, nigga, deal. You want to make that deal? This little dumbass motherfucker, I already got him for Rachel and like, but this how bad the Lord is. So he like, deal. Black lamb and every speckle for the goat. That is all the wages I want. In the future, you can easily find out if I have been honest. See? Because that's obvious, right? When you come to check up on my wages, if I have any goat that isn't speckled or spotted or any sheep that is black, you will know that it has been stolen. Because he removed the ones that would breed those type of would throw that type of gene into the sheep. Those was removed out of the flock. So he was like, yo, there's only one way, you know what I mean? That's how you know I'm dealing honestly. Laban answered and agreed. He like, hell yeah, we would do as you suggested. But that day Laban removed all the goats that had stripes or spots, all the females that were speckled and spotted or which had white on them. He also removed the black sheep. He put his sons in charge of them and then went away from Jacob with his flock as he would travel in 3 days. Jacob took care of the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob got green branches of poplar, almond, and plane trees and stripped off some of the bark so that the branches had white stripes on them, and placed them branches in the flocks at they drinking those, and he put them there because the animals made it when they came to drink. So when the goats bred in front of the branches, they produced young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. See, he basically took a reflection. He made like a spotted branch, and he took a reflection of it and put it in the mirror, and he made it like, cause water, you could like see yourself like in water, like your reflection of yourself in water. And when the animals went to mate by the water after they drunk, and the reflection of the branch was made them able to throw out speckled or spotted sheep. And logically, that don't even fucking make sense. But that's the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And in these last days, we gonna see a lot of things that doesn't make sense, that we gonna know there's the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You try to do some shit like that today, you gonna be bugged the fuck out. That shit ain't gonna never work. But that's how we know that's the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Jacob kept the sheep separate from the goats and made them face in the direction of the straight and black animals in Laban's flock. And in this way he built his own flock and kept it apart from Laban's. See, now he got the speckled sheep coming. When the healthy animals were mating, Jacob put the branches in front of them to drink to those, so that they would breed amongst the branches. But he did not put the branches in front of the weak animals. Soon Laban had all the weak animals, and Jacob had all the healthy ones. And this way Laban became very wealthy. He had many flocks, slaves, camels, and donkeys. So we're going to stop right there, 30. And maybe I should touch 31 a little bit, because I hate leaving in the middle of something, right? Because something's going on here. 31. And Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, Jacob has taken everything that belongs to our father. But he ain't really take shit. He worked for it. They were just mad that the Lord blessed him. And that show you got haters. Anytime you start making, especially with money, bro, anytime you start making money, anytime you start dressing well, getting in shape, doing your thing, motherfuckers gonna hate, bro. They gonna hate. So just get ready, get used to that. I mean, and sad to say, it could even be a so-called brother in the truth that actually hate. And that ain't the spirit. Them brothers that do that shit better repent, because that's not the spirit of the Yahushua. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's land, wife, or nothing. The Lord blessing that brother carnally or financially, and the Lord looking them out. Hey, you can't hate on that brother, man. You be happy for that brother. But human nature, especially niggas in the world, man, they be envious. They be fucking hating, man. That's why a lot of shit you doing, a lot of plans you got, and a lot of things you plan on do, just keep that shit to yourself, man. Real talk. Until when people find out, it's too late for them to hate on you. You like, man, I'm already doing my thing. You can't stop me. Or you can't come in the way. Yeah, you saw when Jacob went to talk to, it's two things men really hate on you about. Women. A fine woman, though. You bring an ugly bitch around, people ain't gonna... Because I seen that in the world. My friends would act funny. I had this badass red bone when I was 16 from Passaic, New Jersey. I got her on the... I was surprised I bagged her. I bagged her through the chat line. They had... This was before, like, MySpace and all that. I bagged her through, like, the talking chat line. You know what I mean? I was just spitting game at her. I never seen her, but when she showed up, she just happened to be fine as hell. I noticed when I brought her around my so-called friends, they will try to joke on me. They would try to be envious of me because she was around. And I'm like, yo, these niggas acting funny because there's a chick around. And I had chicks around before, but it was nothing like that. But when she actually came around, you saw the hating it, and that's when I knew, like, yo, these niggas is not my fucking friends. And the ones of my friends that did was like, that praised me, like, yo, that's you, or this and that. They ain't try to fuck her or this and that, none of that, this and that. I knew those was my real friends. And the same thing with money. You could kind of like, hey, the Lord said, you meet a friend, prove it first, try him. The same thing with bread. A lot of people act funny, like when you come to like that bread, whether you prospering or whether you loan them something or whether they feel entitled to your shit or whatever, this and that. That happens like all the time. So that, hey, the Bible is bad, man. It kind of show you. And Laban was Jacob's uncle too. That kind of show you also how family be the first ones to fucking take advantage of you and to try to use you, misuse you. Because everybody want to be used. You just don't want to be misused. We put on earth to be used, to be vessels. But you just don't want to be misused. But family, the first one to misuse you, to mistreat you, treat you like shit. Jacob has taken everything that belonged to our father. He got all his wealth from what our father owned. But so what? He fucking worked for it, right? These Laban's hating ass sons, Jacob's cousins, the males though, right? He also saw that Laban was no longer as friendly as he had been earlier. That he had said it to him, go back to the land of your fathers, to your relatives, I will be with you. So Jacob sent word to Rachel and Leah to meet them in the field. So I'm going to stop there, right? I'm going to stop there at verse 4. And I'm about to hit the plantation, though. So, and I'm going to go exercise. That's a must. I got to fucking shed this weight off. Lord willing, brother see me again or even through the camera. Like, yo, that brother look good, man. That brother trimmed down. You know, Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? Because even exercising be like a spirit you got to tap into. And it's a lot of discipline and a lot of shit you got to refrain from doing to have results. But, hey, that's what prayer for. That's what trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua about. But for now, man, I'm going to hit the plantation. Afterwards, I'm going to probably try to get a few laps in, jump rope from push-ups or whatever, get that in. Lord willing, I got some energy to finish up this 30. After that, man, probably late as hell, and I had some energy to finish up this 31st chapter. If not, Lord willing, I could do it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon to finish up this lesson. But I'm going to put it all on private right now and, like, release them probably 1, 2, and 3. Because after 32, 32nd chapter, I think it, like, ends in 31. As far as Jacob's journey and from him returning back home. And yeah, so I'm going to leave it like that. And Lord willing, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That was edifying. And Salakia if I was rambling or going on a little bit. But, you know, this is kind of like story form, bedtime story type way of bringing, even though it's named bedtime, but like that type style of bringing it out. So you kind of could be like elaborative. And I'm like a brother that could like talk a little bit. Brothers say that about me. You know, I could be a little like long-winded. And so, but yeah, man, Lord willing, that was edifying. Salaki if I rambled on too much and y'all took that in. So I'm going to try to finish up this 31 and drop all 3 of them so y'all brothers could have all 1, 2, and 3. Y'all can leave y'all comments in the section from what y'all took from it and other pointers that I may overlook or didn't bring out. So until then, you know, shalom. Y'all brothers stay safe and prayed up. Shalom.